What's up, everyone? It's Denise Salcedo, and with me right now is Julius Creed. Julius, man, I gotta tell you, I have been such a huge fan of your work, going from NXT over to the Raw roster. It has been an absolute insane thing to see both you and your brother just like blossom. I want to start off by asking you what your experience has been like so far on the main roster.
It's crazy, right? There are times that it doesn't feel real. There are times that maybe you want more, but overall it'd be like getting in a washing machine and just getting tumbled around and getting spit out on the other side, and you're like, is this real life? Is it not real life? Am I living a dream? If it's a dream, I got a long ways to go. So I think the best way to describe it right now, honestly, would just be happy but not content. We're very happy with where we're at. Life's going good. Growing up, Florida was a place that the rich people lived or people vacationed. Swimming pool was the best part about traveling and going to a hotel, and pro wrestling was something we watched on the TV. I wake up every single day. I live in Florida. I got a swimming pool in my backyard, and I'm a pro wrestler on TV for a living. So I'm very, very happy about those things. But I also take a look at, Judgment Day with unified titles. Cody Rhodes on a 2K cover. Jey Uso, CM Punk is top merchandise sellers. And I realize we also got a long ways to go. So we're very happy, but we're not content. We're going to get that last little bit and get up with those guys and be big names like them soon.
I mean, all in due time, honestly. You guys have just been like insanely killing it. And I want to take a second and talk about the athleticism that both you and your brother bring, because there's times where I'm watching you and I'm like, how did he do it? Is he even human? Talk to us about some of your background and just like how you got this good.
I was just got a DNA thing back. I did this DNA testing thing, and it came back last night on the drive down. And I was all excited to see like the personality and character traits, and then like the physical traits. And I'm going through it, and like the character traits line up, the sleeping thing lines up, and then I get to the athletic stuff, and it's like way less inclined than the average person to be an athlete, way less able to build muscle, way less able to recover, way less on all this stuff. And I sent it to my fiance, and I'm like, man, I really beat the odds. I overcame some of this stuff, because I'd like to think of myself at least as a little bit athletic. But yeah, those things just kind of organically happen. We, started in a wrestling room at 6 weeks old. My dad would take us in the wrestling room to get a break from my mom, so she didn't have to watch us for a little bit. And then it was kind of monkey see, monkey do. And then before you know it, you're throwing bodies, and you're telling your brother, hey, do you think you could do this? Hey, try this. And you're just trying ridiculous stuff. People have asked me before, you get nervous to go out there and to have another person's body in your hands? And the truth is, I've been throwing bodies in wrestling before I could read or write. This is second nature to me. Like, this is what I was born to do. My government name is the name that is in the Bible as wrestling. So like, I think that I was kind of ordained to do this. So is it crazy? Yes. Is some of the athletic stuff wild? Yes. I guess I'm not genetically supposed to do it. But it's been a lifetime of work, and it's just kind of just trying to see how far we can push and to what extremes we can go. It's a real fun thing when you got your brother there to push you and challenge you to do some of that stuff.
Well, first of all, now we know that we don't have to believe everything that people say we have to be in terms of DNA. You can defy those odds, because you're definitely doing it. But to have your brother there with you alongside this journey, I mean, like, you're already happy for yourself, but then to see a person you love, a person that you're close with, get to have that experience too, it's really awesome. What would you say are like the biggest differences and similarities between you and your brother, like personality-wise? How do you guys, I guess, I don't want to say like balance each other out? Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, balance would be right. We are exact opposites. I get so sick of that dude sometimes, and I'm sure he says the exact same. I am a little bit more the optimist, a little bit more the dreamer. When this journey began, I had signed my contract, and I said, hey man, if you want to do this, give me 3 years, and I'll get us where we want to get to. And he's like, okay, I'm all in. I said, all right, I'm going to rent a U-Haul. He had just graduated college. He had no money. I was emptying my savings to come chase this dream. I said, hey man, I'm gonna rent the U-Haul, be up there in 2 weeks. He said, okay. Whatever, 12 days before, he quits answering my calls and is only texting. 1 week before, he ain't even texting back anymore. Finally, I got a hold of him through my parents. I said, tell him I'm being up there. I'm gonna drag him and throw his stuff in the U-Haul, and he's not gonna get a choice. And that's kind of what ended up happening. He almost wanted to bail. He has a little bit more self-doubt than I do. I think sometimes I'm a little bit too much of a dreamer, too much of an optimist, but I told him 3 years, and we got caught up right at the 3-year mark. So I made that happen for us. He made that happen for us. Ivy made that happen for us. So it's a pretty cool thing. But like I said, happy, not content. This was all kind of spoken to existence and all kind of part of the plan. So hopefully far, far from where we're going to end up.
Man, I'm so excited for you guys both, man. I do have one last question for you, and it's sort of this thing where when I watch you wrestle, we always come up with like these fantasies, right, in terms of like, oh, these dream matches of who we'd want to see these wrestlers wrestle against. When I watch you my dream match for you, and it's honestly you versus peak Kurt Angle. And when I think about that, I'm like, oh my God, if we were in different time periods, that could have been a thing. I want to ask you, for you, like, who are some of those wrestlers, like past, current, present, that you're just like, man, I would have either loved to wrestle this guy or I would love to wrestle this guy?
I think styles make matchups, right? And I think it would be very interesting to see Kurt Angle and I at his peak be able to go out there and perform and compete against each other. He's got to be at the top of the list. There's so many names that come to mind because not only do we get the individual matchups, but with my brother being there, we get the tag team matchups. So then you start looking at like Steiner Brothers, you start looking at like World's Greatest Tag Team, you start looking at Kurt Angle, you start looking at the guys that are on the roster right now. Like, man, I would just love to be able to go out there and all types of styles, Let me see Finn Balor in a singles match. When we got to NXT, he was the top guy. So, like, I would love to see that. Let me see Cody Rhodes. Let me see where I fall in line. A story old as time is two brothers start finding success together, and instead of breaking apart, maybe the brothers that have broken apart want to come back together to prove themselves. Well, right now, the Usos have been broken apart. Do they still have that chemistry? Have they lost a step? I can tell you we're firing on all cylinders and we're only getting better. So we're on the rise, they're on the fall. Do they come back together? Do we get that matchup? Do we get to see what it looks like to run it with the Usos at some point? Creed brothers, Usos, that's exciting. Do we run it with their brother, Solo? I would love to be out there with Solo. Let's find out. He's got the thumb spike. I got this one little thumb. It's kind of like weird. I hit him with that one and we could find out. So I don't know. Like, I think styles make matchups, and I'm excited to get out there with anyone I could, but prime Kurt Angle maybe all time would be towards the top of that list.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, Julius, thank you so much for chatting with me. To everybody watching, thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.